Welcome, my friends, to a podcast that's been described as
emotional
and
terrifying.
one guy even said it was
So awesome it will shock you to the core.
finally another podcast about Godzilla and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, Cass and Slick.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast from Odo Island. Welcome to the podcast from Odo Island. Find us on Twitter at Odo Island Pod. I'm Cass, and with me, as always, is a man who did not wear his Halloween costume nearly long enough.
It was a hot Halloween costume.
Yeah, mine was too. Mr. Slick, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Better that I'm not wearing that hot Halloween costume anymore.
I was hot for a different reason.
And what were you for Halloween?
I was Yuri from GMK.
You attended my Halloween party, and I think you won a prize for that costume. Did you
Funniest.
not? Funniest. There you go. Award-winning costume.
I was expecting the Rob Schneider Award, but Alan won that, so
Yeah.
cool.
I was Riff Raff from Rocky Horror, and my wife was Magenta, and we did not win couple's costume, but my wife won best costume, and maybe I should have kept that costume on a little bit longer. But
Yeah, I think if you did, you would have had a better shot, but once Forrest and Jenny showed up, or Forrest and Lieutenant Dan showed up,
Oh,
it
yes.
was kind of over for you.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Mostly because Forrest looked like Forrest.
Yeah, yes.
Lieutenant Dan just kind of looked like me, so I kept on calling her Casares all night.
And yeah, that was our Halloween weekend.
Yeah, nothing else happened whatsoever.
Nope. Well, that's not true. We were joshing you.
Oh, I meant for Halloween.
Yeah.
For this week, yeah, lots of stuff happened.
Godzilla got older.
Godzilla's 1 year older, 1 year closer to the grave.
It seems to be going in the opposite direction. As he gets older, it seems he's getting more life, which is a positive thing.
He's 67 years young.
Yeah.
And also another birthday was Hidra, who turned 50.
Yes.
And there was a 50-year celebration, and it was awesome.
Right. This is kind of like the end of the 50th year celebration. It kind of started last year with November 3rd, and kind of comes to an end-ish around now. And Toho said, well, now it's the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Gigan, so next year is the year of Gigan.
Old Pokey.
Yeah, old Pokey. And so if it's, it seems like the Hidra 50th gimmick worked out pretty well. Like, it was some cool shirts and stuff like over the year. But so if we're going to get that treatment with Gigan, that's going to be pretty sweet. And then that would mean Megalon would come after.
We could get the two Final Wars Gigans against maybe two Godzillas.
Or maybe we'll just get some weird Showa Gigan versus Final Wars Gigan stuff going down.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I feel like if you're doing the 50th anniversary of Gigan, you got to go a little bit heavier in the Showa design.
Here's what they should do. Instead of a fight video, or they could do the fight video too, but instead of that, they should do that the animated movie's backstory to Gigan, where he keeps on trying to fight Godzilla, and more of him gets chipped away, and he keeps on being rebuilt as a robot, and then like slowly he just becomes less of an organism and more of a cyborg.
Right. Yeah, they should do I feel like this year was like the first year. It's like, I don't know, Totally always kind of does stuff like for Godzilla's birthday, but like this was like a whole like year's worth of stuff kind of. And then like this week it was like they made like, we're going to talk about the Godzilla versus Hidra short, but it's like they announced a bunch of merchandise. Like they're doing this like virtual Godzilla Fest thing. It's like, which, they did stuff like, hey, here's like these like special new characters going to be like in the mobile game. The only one of the battle line, the only one that's anyone's paying any attention to anymore still. But, and they're like, oh, here's all this like new merch. Like, we're going to have like pop-up Godzilla stores in like the United States. And like, we're going to open another Godzilla store like in Osaka, like to complement. And then we're going to have all these Godzilla store exclusives. Like they really like leaned in on it this year. And I was like, good, great. More of this. Do more of this shit.
It's like there's no active Godzilla series right now, but it feels like we're in the middle of a like an active Godzilla series. It's not a lull right now. It's weird.
Yeah. I thought for sure, like, or I shouldn't say it thought for sure, but it's like I was like kind of hoping or expecting to, like, because they did a whole panel on Singular Point on their virtual Godzilla Fest, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to end with like a season 2 being announced, but that didn't happen. But then again, I think like the Ultraman anime like took forever to get a second season announced, so like maybe it's just going the same path.
All right, gotcha.
But
there's definitely a season 2 of that coming. There's no way there isn't.
There's gotta be.
There's 0% chance there's no season 2.
Yeah, it was a huge hit.
Yeah.
You know, it was very popular, and like
the last episode is just so good.
They just dumped all this like merchandise. Just the SH Monster Rats figure for Jet Jaguar.
Is that the roly poly one?
No, it's like the final form in Singular Point, complete with the backpack, like the jet pack thing that he had in the final episode. I was this is absurd looking.
I saw like the circular like tank, smaller ones with the spear, but I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, no, this is like it's the final form one from Singular Point with like the backpack. It looks incredible. Then there was a SH Monster House Hedorah announced as well, which looks, I might break my rule of like not buying SH Monster House figures. Might buy that, but what else is there? Was like something else that was like really cool announced. Oh, and there's like rumors that like Salunga and I think Final Form Jet Jaguar are getting Bandai Movie Monster releases soon. So it's like very much still like in their
I saw some Bandai Movie Monsters announcements.
Gorosaurus and Mechagodzilla 2.
Yeah.
And I saw it just before I came over here.
And wasn't Gamera a part of that too?
Oh yeah, Gamera 99 and Iris.
Yes.
And Godzilla 89, which I pre-ordered in Hobby Link Japan last night. But Gorosaurus is a Godzilla store exclusive, and I read on the way over here it's already sold out. One day and it's sold out. And like again, that's a Godzilla store exclusive, which means like you're not buying it online. Like that's like people went to the store and bought it. That's not a case like bots or anything like that. That's like just legitimate. And then Bandai was like, oh Jesus, we didn't expect it was going to be so popular, but like we're going to restock it. But yeah, good week.
I thought it was a good week. Let's talk about Godzilla versus Hedorah.
Yes, I think this is the crown jewel of this week.
Yeah, especially with what's coming up.
Yeah, well, we should also lead to that for Godzilla's birthday. We're going to do the Cozzilla.
That's kind of like our thing, though. We always kind of celebrate it in a weird way.
Yeah, and I thought that was perfect. But so we'll lead with something a little bit more traditional. Yeah.
Yeah. So this starts off. Hedorah is just in like a industrial area. He's taking a toke or two of the chimneys.
Yeah.
Just doing his Hedorah business. Godzilla Final Wars shows up and they have a nice little low angle fight. I'm just like, all right, this is how you do it.
So this is how so I don't watch a lot of newer Ultraman stuff, but from what I've seen and also what I read, this is like exactly how newer Ultraman is like filmed.
Yeah.
All the time.
They did a good job with it. It looked cool. Like my only gripe is that there was a little bit too much of stuff in the foreground. It was it kind of reminded me of Batman Forever on Sega Genesis, where like you're kind of obscured a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But like at least they did stuff to justify it. Like they shot up some slime. From behind the building, and then like Godzilla would be like going to shoot his ray, and you'd see that from behind the building.
Yeah,
I could see why they did it. It's like it saves money to just add that in.
And so like I was reading like about like the making of that short like before this, and it was they shot it in September, and it's just shot in like the back lot of Toho Studios, and you can like, actually see like the building Toho's like studios like in the background of one shot. So they must have been like, oh, this is like the way we gotta like try to hide the giant building in the background, and that's probably I'm sure that probably contributed to like why they were filming it from that low angle too. I think I'm just guessing.
Well, I thought the low angle was just smart because it makes them look bigger.
Also, yeah, it also made them look huge.
Yeah,
and I thought the suit like for those suits being like 15, 16 years old, it was like shit. It was like they're held together pretty good.
Yeah, they looked great. The battle was fun. It was just not so much of like a karate fight that you saw in Final Wars from like Godzilla versus like Monster X or whatever.
Yeah,
this was more of a traditional just brawl. Like there were kicks and punches included, but like
that sick kick made me laugh every time I watched it.
it was dialed back a little bit.
The uppercut that he starts with though, it's like, oh, it was like shit. Godzilla made a combo out of this.
I did enjoy how Ghidorah blasted Godzilla with the smoke and gave him kind of like a Hikaru Shida type of eye makeup thing going on.
Oh, yeah. Good ref.
Who is Godzilla played by again?
So Godzilla was played by, and I don't know who either of these suit actors are, but Godzilla was played by Naoya Matsumoto, and Ghidorah was played by Hikaru Yoshida.
Yeah.
And the director was Kazuhiro Nakagawa, who was an assistant director on Shin Godzilla.
Oh, all right, cool.
And he also did like I don't remember if he did like the latest Godzilla the Ride one, but he did the Shin Godzilla Evangelion ride with Shin King Ghidorah. He was the director. For that.
Cool.
So, but yeah, I didn't realize he was an assistant director on Shin Godzilla, and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he knows what he's doing. It makes sense because it was well done. Crazy
the music.
Crazy how one of the suit actors was named Hikaru Yoshida.
I guess, yeah. But like the fact that they used Showa music from Godzilla vs. Ghidorah and then the Megalon ending. But then they had a Final Wars theme during the fight. And then the title card was like just like the 90s like Heisei era like title cards. So this is awesome. Is that you squeezed all different eras like into this shot. And then But yeah, to kind of also just go back to something you said, I just thought it was funny, like, yeah, Ghidorah just like wanted to smoke. And Godzilla's like, I'm the RA in this dorm.
That's really what the fight was all about.
Ghidorah should have shoved the towel into that factory or something.
That's smart like me.
Yeah.
But in any event, they fought. Godzilla eventually turns the tides against Ghidorah's big attack and wins. Marches back out to sea.
Nice little sunset silhouette shot.
They do the orange sky with the sun.
Yeah.
Like just like how he appears in Megalon. And that was it. Nice short, sweet 5-minute video.
Yeah.
Probably a minute on both ends is credits, so maybe like 4 minutes total of like monster stuff.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time you gotta waste to just get your jollies in if you like Godzilla.
Yeah. I'm giving it 4 stars. Give me more of this.
4 stars as well. Yeah.
Give me more of this dumb, ridiculous stuff.
I could have got 5 stars if it was just a tad longer and a little bit more interesting.
Agreed.
But I was fine without like a story or anything, no context. Just give me like a quick monster fight thing, and this was good for that.
I think I don't know if I've told you this before, but it was like in like the late 70s, like in Ultraman, they did this thing called Ultra Fight, which is like so stupid and like low budget, but like also awesome. And it was like they basically just took like whatever they had like leftovers from like suits at that point, and they would just like have people like put the suits on and like go to like these like remote locations, like some woods or like a beach or whatever, and they would just like essentially have backyard wrestling matches for like 3 minutes. And like that's like kind of, this was like the big budget version of that. There's like a playlist of like all like the Ultra Fight episodes, and it's like hilarious to watch because it's just like people rolling around in these like beat up suits trying to like improvise fights. Like
we throw you over, you think you can hang on?
And there's no I mean like there's like no like rhyme or reason to who wins or who loses. Like, you know, Ultra 7 could be in them. And like, or Ultra 7 is the one they always use, I think. And like, you know, you could just get like beat up and lose the fight. It doesn't matter. It's literally like this was like the big budget version of that. Give me more of that.
Yeah.
Give them rankings. Give them title belts.
Ultra 7 didn't win the coin toss.
No.
Tough shit.
Make wins and losses matter.
Track the records.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be like the ultimate fight, you know? The Ultimate Fighting Championship.
It could be I don't know, I can't think of a snappy name off the top of my head.
Yeah, Ultimate Fight.
Ultimate Fight.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This ain't BDF. I can't do that. So, shall we get to it?
Yeah.
Let's dig in. Luigi Cozzi's Godzilla.
Yes.
Lovingly known as Cozzilla. Watched it for the first time last night. Oh my.
Yeah. Well, let's set the table here for this. So yeah, we're going to be doing Godzilla 77 or Godzilla exclamation point, or just how the internet knows it, Cozzilla.
Cozzilla, I like that.
Cozzilla. That's how it's just infamously known. So Luigi Cozzi, who is Luigi Cozzi? He is kind of like a
he is a Luigi, number one.
I would say he's like not like Uwe Boll, who like just seems like a bad person who like exploits tax loopholes to make bad movies. Like Luigi Cozzi, from what I can tell, seems a little bit more on the Ed Wood side. Seems like he's like a little bit more passionate about what he's doing. Although I think his you may be familiar with one of his other movies, Star Crash, which I believe was on Mystery Science Theater 3000. It's like a Star Wars like ripoff that like low budget Star Wars ripoff.
Okay.
That he,
this is ringing bells. I don't recall what happens in the MST3K version, but
yeah, I don't really remember it either. But I have definitely seen Star Crash, so I guess now I have seen 2 Luigi Cozzi productions. But
mighty proud of you.
So he originally wanted to do a release of Gorgo in 1977, but the rights were surprisingly really high for Gorgo, and so instead Toho was asking for less money to re-release Godzilla, the 1954 one, or what ultimately they sent him, the 1956 one.
Yeah.
To re-release it, and they were good with his wants to basically kind of reimagine the movie. And I think part of the deal was, though, the Toho would get to kind of keep the masters of the movie. So Toho has like tried to wipe this from like the face of the earth. Like in the Criterion Collection, I think there was like director's commentary that like originally talked about it, and they had that removed. They don't like ever want this like discussed. We could be in danger, in fact, doing this podcast from the Toho.
I'm all set.
The Toho could be coming for us. So a big thing at the time was Censor Sound, which was kind of like one of these like movie theater gimmicks where it's like you would pay to like license or install like these like big subwoofers like under like the seats or whatever, and it's supposed to like, you know, make the theater shake from like all the noise. It's supposed to be like a much more immersive experience.
We could just have an AEW theme live, and that would do the trick.
Yeah, I heard they're very bassy.
Oh, but it's all subwoofer.
But you know, obviously that was the thing at the time. But Luigi Cozzi did not have the money to license Censor Sound, so he made his own, which is at the beginning of the film, the credits, called Future Sound.
Okay.
So that was a lie.
Yeah, good for him for trying though.
The coloring job was done by Armando Valchiata, who did the coloring, and I'm sure as we dive into it, we will talk more about it. But just about the technique, it was actually a wet color gel that they applied frame by frame, and there's actually a YouTube video of Luigi Cozzi talking about the movie, and you see the guy like actually applying the color gel frame by frame. And one of the reasons why this movie is actually longer than the original 56 and 54 version is that at the time, theaters didn't want to have like a 70-minute movie in theaters. So in addition to adding all sorts of stock footage that we will discuss, that had a double purpose of also padding the time for 10 extra minutes.
I definitely could tell that they added scenes, and they added like a lot of shots lingered on Serizawa under the water.
Oh God, yeah.
They doubled like the post Tokyo attack.
Yeah.
Or the attack scene, so like the song plays twice basically.
Right.
I definitely noticed a lot of padding.
Yeah, a lot of that was to get it to 80 minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And then finally, one of the positive things that's often regarded is the original music that was written this movie, which I
agree.
I saw on Twitter that you saw that. So that was done by a trio called Magnetic System, and it's actually a modification of the prayer for peace. But but they released it on a vinyl album called Godzilla Escape, and but that theme would then go on to be the title theme for a series of Italian zombie movies.
It spanks. It's good. I like that a lot.
Well, it's more popularly known as like a theme. I forget what the two movies are, but it's like some like Italian zombie franchise that I think actually has like quite a cult following, but I forget the names.
Is it Zombie?
I think it's Zombie, and then there's another one's like City of the Dead or something like that.
Because that's actually part of the Romero movies. It's like a remake of the George A. Romero.
Is it? Okay.
Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, I think
it's Dawn. No, it's Dawn of the Dead. It's like our Italian remake of that.
Yeah, so maybe,
but it's just called Zombie, and then the next zombie movie is called Zombie 3.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I think it is one of those. There was like another one that was like something like City of the Dead or Zombie of the Dead,
or it might be called Zombie 2. I forget the.
Is it the one that's like with like just like an I at the end and like no E, or it's like two I's at the end? It has like a weird spelling.
I think that's Zombie on Wii U.
Well, I'm a Wii playing fool, so maybe that's what I was thinking.
We could both be wrong. I'm just making jokes here.
So yeah, so that's the background. Then what the hell happens in this adaptation?
Well, you get 5 minutes of credits at the beginning. Full 5 minutes of just nothing. Like
after a random recap of Hiroshima.
Yeah.
The bombing of Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So you get that.
Okay.
With some synth music playing over it. Really out of place.
But like overall, it's just like you're looking at like destroyed buildings that are like slightly yellow.
Yeah.
And like green and like I don't know, it was just weird.
Yeah.
It's just basically like an Italian version of Godzilla, but a US version of it. And like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because like you have Steve Martin who like they keep him as a reporter in Chicago. Like just have him be a reporter from Rome or a reporter from Venice or somewhere where speaking Italian is normal, because I get that it's localized for Italy and you have to understand what they're saying. Totally fine. Yeah. Redub it in Italian. No problem there. But to keep him as a reporter from Chicago, I was kind of like, nope. You know anything about America? Nope.
Yeah. Well, there was someone who I saw on Twitter said like, oh, like, you know, they're like, oh, like as like an Italian, I was like, you know, so glad we have our own version of Godzilla. I'm very Italian, very, very Italian.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm proud that Italy has this version of Godzilla, but I'm glad it exists in some sort of way because it's so weird.
I'm glad it exists too. Yeah, that's one way to put it. I'm glad I saw it.
So I mean, we like the story is inherently the same, so we don't need to like recap the story, what happens, but I think we should kind of like talk about like certain like segments of the movie and how they colorized it and the stock footage.
Oh, sure. So the colorizing at the beginning's more like earth tones, yellow, green type of things. It just sort of like sets the stage. Calming colors, I would call it. Because then once the Tokyo attack happens, it's like suddenly red.
Yeah, bright red.
Red and black and white. I'm just
and strobing.
Like, yeah. And I'm just kind of like, okay, like this is clearly meant to be like the colors are signifying like the emotions that you're supposed to feel. Like,
right.
Red is dread. Right. And like
red is dread.
Yellow's mellow. Like that's the way I took it.
There was like, a thematic choice here with the colors.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that was a bad idea if you're limited with like gelling the film, then you chose right at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was all visible still. The version on Archive that I watched, like very clear. I started watching it on YouTube and it was very blurry and I was like, I can't tolerate this.
Yes,
like it's too blurry.
Yeah.
But the version on Archive was like pretty sharp and I could see everything just fine.
Yeah. But could you imagine like watching this like in a theater with it like red and strobing like that, like on a giant screen? Like that would
have to be sober.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Because if so, no.
Like I thought like here's like one of the positive things I will say about this whole adaptation is that like when Godzilla attacks Tokyo the second time and after the attack is finished, it's like, but I'm going to have to put a qualifier on what I'm about to say. Like, they're like recapping some of the destruction. And then they have like the woman who in Japanese says like, we're going to be with your daddy soon. Like that line repeats a handful of times. And they cut in like essentially like red tinted flashbacks of Godzilla firing his ray after he's already gone under the water. And I was like, oh, that's really good. Problem though. is that you could have just used destruction that was filmed for the movie, but no, you opted to film it, to cut in real dead people from World War II and just close-ups of just horrible, like dead people, like horribly clear dead people.
There was that. There was people being actively like flamethrowered.
Yeah.
Like that was real. Like they turn and look at you, and you can see into their eyes, and you can see the awareness that they know they're about to die, and you can see it, and they stare back at you. And when you stare into the abyss stares back, and I will never smile again.
It's like, but I mean, yeah, but like, it's like, oh yeah, here's Godzilla Fighters Ray. Yeah, here's a dude who legitimately just got flamethrowed in real life.
Yes.
Here's like, all right, here's like this cool, like, I don't know, effect of Godzilla, like, looking like some nightmare from hell. Oh, but now here's like some like dead children.
Yeah.
Here you go. And it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, you can't do that.
Clearly, there's like a disconnect on what like normal functioning society today thinks and to what like not normally functioning society from 1977.
So I don't even think that was okay back then, but like I think in Italy, like there's like a whole series of exploitation movies that I think are like shocking like this from the 70s.
Yeah.
And I think like that was like a thing in Italy, like niche Italian cinema in the 70s, but like I think the rest of the world was like, what the shit is like when Godzilla attacks like one of like the boats like at the beginning, like that just like randomly cuts like people like frantically diving off a boat and like trying to get into like lifeboats and stuff like that. I was like, what is happening here? Like,
I remember I was texting you and stuff like this was happening last night. I was like, oh, it started. And I think one of the things I said, it was like, it's like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory or Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, the Gene Wilder one.
Okay.
Where they're in the boat and he's singing the song and they're like flashing like little clips of stuff around and like everyone's like weirded out. And I'm like, I'm surprised that Luigi Cozzi didn't like splice in like some creepy crawly bugs during these sequences. Well, like, just to drive home how menacing it is.
Well, towards like the end of the movie, like when Serizawa's like going underwater with like Ogata to drop the oxygen destroyer.
There's a shark and octopus fight.
Yeah.
And like a shark is eating an octopus. And it just kind of lingers on that. And it keeps on showing Serizawa just like staring at it and watching it.
It's like, why is that there?
I got great amusement out of that.
It's like, what is the point of this?
There was no point. I was just like, if you're gonna add stuff, add this because this is so silly. Like,
yeah,
just a shark eating an octopus. Maybe. What if?
Is this gonna somehow tie back to Frankenstein conquers the world?
No. I'm not going there. It was, yeah, but I was a good at making.
But it was like anywhere else that all right, so Godzilla, like, they got, like, let's send a patrol boat to go find Godzilla at the beginning of the movie. It's a small patrol boat. Then, like, Godzilla comes out of the water, blows it up. But, like, what do? They splice in, like, clips of, like, naval ships, like...
Yes.
Like, exploding, like, they got, like, 5 missiles shot at them.
There was also more naval ships splicing in that we could talk about later on.
Oh, towards the end of the movie, right? Yeah.
This is where I laughed out loud because it made no sense.
Let's do it.
It was like if you were a fan of WWE in the late 2000s, you know Edge had a lot of pyro for his entrance. It was a lot like Edge's entrance towards the end of this movie because like Serizawa sets off the why can't I think of it?
Orthogonal diagonalizer. Oxygen destroyer.
Why couldn't I think of oxygen destroyer? Orthogonal diagonalizer. No. So he sets that off, and Godzilla rises up, and he's like peeking out of the water, and like all normal stuff that you'd expect, and then he's about to sink down, but instead it's like they splice in shots of like battleships just firing and firing and firing. It's like the grand finale of like a fireworks display. Yeah. It was so insane. Oh my god. And it was just kind of like, okay, why?
And then like in the middle of it'll cut to like Dr. Yamane still like looking like sad down at like the water because Serizawa hasn't come up. Well, all like the entire Japanese self-defense force is firing every missile they have.
Yeah,
and he's just like, no.
Steve Martin's just staring.
Yeah.
Like emotionless. Like he just has like a sullen expression on his face.
And then to really top the end off, it just ends with synth music and atomic bomb mushroom clouds.
Yes, there's a mushroom cloud and then the cool music hits, and I'm just I got into the music. I was like, I'm watching this just to listen to this song.
Yeah. I was like, why? Because I remember watching it going I was like, oh, is he really gonna have this kind of subdued ending? And then I was like, oh no, never mind. There's some nuclear bombs going off just to remind you where you were with this whole thing.
And so that's kind of it. The story is mostly the same from what I could tell. I wasn't watching it with subtitles, and I don't speak Italian, so I couldn't really follow it. But I just assumed
the archive version had subtitles.
I didn't have them on.
You had to turn them on.
Yeah, whatever.
No, I mean,
I just assumed it was similar or the same.
It's pretty much pretty much the same dialogue.
I wasn't in a reading mood last night, so I cut them off.
No, it's all pretty much the same dialogue from the US version. Nothing really.
Okay.
Nothing has really changed. There might have been one or two things that, because for the most part they kept the pacing of the movie similar. When Godzilla attacks Tokyo, that's where most the scene shuffling is.
Mm-hmm.
And or it's really just reusing scenes kind of over and over again, but for the most part I think a couple scenes were shuffled around to make it look like Godzilla sank that boat when he first shows up in Tokyo Harbor for that attack. And then I think all the human cast, I think it was all pretty much kept intact. There was little things that was oh, that's a little bit out of order, but it was not a big deal. I think just it was minimal changes. But,
gotcha.
But yeah, and then I also remember oh yeah, the other stock footage thing, that 2 stock footage points. At one point when Godzilla's attacking Tokyo, it cuts to the random the 3 prisoners that were escaped in Godzilla raids again, and they get caught in the subway flood. They're randomly interjected into into Godzilla's second Tokyo fight, just because it was oh yeah, well of course it's a scene of people dying, so why?
Luigi Cozzi was oh, give me some more of that.
Yes, yeah, he's
I like that. Give me more of that.
It's not as real as the other real shit I've filled this with, but and then I remember laughing at on the Odo Island scene, where Godzilla appears during the storm, and it's Raymond Burr, Steve Martin, and the other guy just kind of sitting in the tent, smoking butts, and then but then it's randomly filled with stock scenes of I don't know, hand drawn lightning flashes and stuff, and just hurricane winds, and just really just padding out that a fierce storm is going on.
Yeah.
Then I was this is, and then it goes for so long, the music gets a little screwed up, and I think at one point they played 2 songs on top of each other, and then go back to the original King of the Monsters soundtrack. But I was like, what is, I don't know. This whole thing was I just kept looking at it, what is happening?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. I was just watching it and absorbing it and just being okay.
Absorbing it is the right way to put it.
I think when we judge this movie, we should judge it for only what it added to the movie and what it did, and not what the Toho or US versions did.
Oh yeah, well that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay. That's because that's kind of my thing for this is it can only be what Luigi Cozzi added to it and his team added to it. We have to judge it based on that, and not the Toho or the US versions.
Yeah. In that case, I am going to actually 1-star this. I'm not going to do the whole 0-star things, but 1-star.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't splice in if you didn't splice in real footage of people, just dead people all over the place, I would have probably ranked it a little bit higher, going yeah, I mean it's a really fucking weird version, you should watch it, it's got all this psychedelic stuff going on, but it's when you're splicing in real people dying in really terrible ways, from real life atrocities, I just can't I can't give it a positive score. I just can't.
Yeah.
It's too much.
I'm going to see your one and raise you a 1. Here's my thing. It's 1977. We can colorize stuff now. Like, we can do it. We have the technology. Movie that comes to mind, The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to colorize it, do that. Don't just, like, slap gel onto the film and say, like, all right.
Yeah. I want to guess that was dirt cheap.
Oh, I bet it was dirt cheap. However, it just didn't look good.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you're going to colorize it, do it right or don't do it at all. Like, it was fine in black and white. Keep it that way. If you're colorblind, you'll have no problem watching this aside from the legitimately dead people that you'll see.
Yeah.
And the hilarious, overabundant battleship shooting at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it was so overboard.
Kind of diminishes the effectiveness of the oxygen destroyer.
Yes. But, Godzilla sank back down. The same ending kind of happened.
Right.
But I'm giving this a 1. I've ranked one movie lower than this year. This isn't the worst movie I've seen this year. But it's the worst Godzilla movie I've seen this year.
What was the other thing you ranked a 1?
I ranked Ape vs. Monster at -5 stars.
Oh, yes. Right.
Because I think it's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And if I ever watch it again, I am drinking every time there is a overhead shot. No, it's Langley.
Langley,
CIA,
that's right. Yeah.
The CIA plays.
Yeah.
And you drink twice if the same set of characters that appeared at a different location appear in the next scene in Langley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll be hammered by the time this movie is done.
I want someone to like re-edit this movie and take out like the World War II like footage. And then like I feel like it'd be a much different experience.
I want someone to re-edit this movie and add more World War II footage, but not like the dead people stuff. Just like swap it out for like soldiers just kind of like staring into the camera and smiling and waving and stuff, like the happy-go-lucky stuff.
Yeah,
like swap that
in. Someone just splices in footage from Saving Private Ryan throughout the entire movie, but color gels it.
Every time you do that, it's just Matt Damon aging from that other.
No, you're right. Yeah, no, yeah. Every clip involves Matt Damon.
Yeah. So yeah, Luigi Cozzi's Godzilla ! Cozzilla, 1 star. See it if you can, but I think if you see it once, you'll be like, okay, I'll never have to watch this again. Also, Fairyzilla saw the original Godzilla in theaters. She was like, or they were like, there was like weird purple coloring on like the corners during parts of the movie. I was like, Luigi Cozzi back for one last scare.
Yeah, he knew. What was I going to say to that? Yeah, I don't really remember. Oh, I remember. Like, see it once if you can. I'm ashamed to admit that this is now the second time I've seen
you're watching it for the podcast too. So
yes,
you've seen it before.
Yes. I watched it one side of Morbid Curiosity.
Yes, and I've watched it one side of Morbid Curiosity. My curiosity has been quenched. No more curiosity for this movie.
Yeah, I think I'm done with that.
I think I'm done.
I think I'm done with it.
If I'm going to watch this movie ever again, which I probably will, it'll be the Japanese version first, and then maybe the US one afterwards.
Yeah.
Japanese one's just way better.
Well, there is a Philippines version of the movie that's lost. It's lost. It's called Tokyo 1960, and it essentially did the same thing that like the Raymond Burr version was. They took out all the Japanese actors and filled it with a cast made of like stars from the Philippines, and but yeah, it's believed to have been lost. All the newspaper ads and posters for it still exist, but the movie itself has long been lost. But you never know. This version was thought to be lost for a while, but fortunately for the whole world, it was found. Actually, I should have said, now that we're done reviewing that, the menace is gone. The whole world can wake up and live again.
You have your fears, which may become reality. And then there's Cozzilla, which is reality.
It is. So, there you go.
Do you have figures?
I do.
I don't.
Maybe you should ask me when you have figures. You should go, get any figs lately? And then when I ask you, I should really, do you have any figs?
You got any gum? Anyway, get any figures lately?
Nothing for you this week?
Nothing for me. I dressed up like a girl from a Godzilla movie, and that was my figure of the week.
Well, doesn't that kind of count because you bought like the shirt and I assume the head wrap?
Yes, I bought the gauze, and the orangish colored shirt, and I already had the khakis.
Yeah.
So
we didn't. Not only were you Yuri from GMK, you are head wound variant Yuri.
Yes.
Like if there was like a figure of her, like in the wrestling sphere, like she would come with like two heads, like one with the bandage, one with the bandage. You were essentially like Yuri Elite.
Yes, I was the Ultimate Edition.
You were a Mattel Yuri Ultimate figure.
Very true. So I didn't get any figures though, unfortunately. I didn't even get any. Oh no, I did get another figure. I got a Kevin Nash Elite to go with my Super Shredder.
No, see, you had some purchases, just not in the Godzilla world.
Yeah, just look at the adjective. Play.
Well, I had a decent week. It wasn't starting off as like then it was like a slew of good purchases kind of came in last second. So on the bag clip front, I am now one bag clip away.
And I saw you talking to Corey on the old interwebs.
Yes,
they had.
He randomly has the one that I need now.
Yeah, they have the one you, and I saw it. I was just like, oh, all right,
that's
the one you need.
Yeah, so it's like it's from the King of the Monsters line, which is like the very first line of the bag clips they did, and it had two chases. One was like a Godzilla with like orange dorsal plates and like some like orange like kind of like crackling going across his body, and there was a blue one. So the blue one is the one that I need now. But that line also has a King Ghidorah variant, and I got the variant. So now I'm one bag clip away from a complete Godzilla bag clip monogram Godzilla bag clip collection, which I counted earlier. It's like something like 55 or 56 bag clips.
All right.
That's not even counting the Ultraman ones. I also randomly got a monogram Spider-Gwen Gwenum version bag clip because I have a little superhero shelf in one of my rooms, and I like Spider-Gwen, and so I wanted to have that represented on my shelf, and I figured I'd keep going with the monogram bag clips.
Yeah, I understand. I have a little horror collection going.
Yeah, it's kind of like yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's like my superhero shelf is mostly like Spider-Man and Venom and like Spider-Man like adjacent characters, and I have the Shadow because the Shadow's cool.
Okay.
Not that like movie from the 90s, but like old time radio Shadow. But anyway, I think I said in the last episode that I ordered the cocaine covered Playmates Kong, and I mean snow covered Playmates Arctic Kong, whatever it is. And I think I said it was lost. I got my refund from Amazon, and then randomly a very beat up box showed up my front step a couple days ago, containing a very beat up cocaine covered King Kong figure in there, and it's just like all the other Playmates Kong figures, but kind of covered in cocaine.
All right.
But I figure with Christmas coming and stuff like that, like he fits the wintry vibe pretty well.
Sure.
So that was cool. I was glad to have that.
Yeah.
But my main event purchase was actually something I've been trying to get for a while. It's called I'm going to get the name kind of wrong, but it's called the Bandai Dream Project Godzilla and Anguirus two pack. And so like these are like two Bandai Movie Monster size figures. They come packaged in they're a little bit rarer. They're kind of like, so what it is, it's Godzilla 55, which as far as I know, I think this is the only Bandai Godzilla 55 figure there is, but it's all translucent. I should have brought it over because it's really cool. It's like a translucent plastic that's all kind of like blue and white. It's supposed to represent that Godzilla is like made of ice. And it's all translucent, really cool. Anguirus is supposed to be like the fire monster side. So like, his head and his arms and stuff are like all like this like red translucent plastic. And like they say it's Anguirus 55, but it's just, reusing the Anguirus 68 mold, which I was kind of like, why Bandai? Why'd you do that? You made a new mold for Godzilla. Why didn't you make a new mold for Anguirus? But But no, pretty sweet set. Something I've been trying to find for a while. Not aggressively, but one popped up on Mercari for like a really good price. And I said, I can't let that go by.
I'll buy it at a good price. Stranger.
Yeah, that's that's pretty much how I imagine all my Mercari transactions gotta go. Mercari does like this thing where I don't know how much if this has like an impact on you, but it's like, so like for people who don't know what Mercari is, it's a great eBay alternative. And it's supposed to be like kind of like offer heavy, right? Like you see like a listing and like you can make an offer on anything.
Yeah, it kind of gives you suggestions on what to offer too.
But what it also does is says this many people have this item in their checkout cart right now.
Yeah.
And so when I looked at the listing, which was already at a good price, and it said 3 people have this item in their cart right now. And I said, I am not going to be making an offer. I'm going to buy this as it's listed.
Yeah.
And I have done that a handful of times in Mercari, and I don't know. It's an interesting thing that it does when you see that.
It's for me, Mercari is interesting because I've had good experiences where stuff gets sent to me right away. And then I've had bad experiences where I feel like the person who's selling it's probably got it listed on eBay and other sites too.
Yes.
And maybe they're not the fastest in shipping it. And I'm like, hey, when are you going to ship it? And they're like, oh, I'll get it out to you tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and what you get is a refund.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just like, all right, well, clearly you sold this elsewhere. But then like it'll pop up like a week later. Like they're trying to sell it again.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, you scumbag.
I've bought quite a few things on Mercari. I think maybe I'm like now closing in like maybe like 2 dozen purchases. I've only had one bad experience.
Okay.
Which is good.
I think I've had
But it was what you just described is exactly what I had.
Yeah, it was like 5 or 6 successful experiences and then like 1 or 2 like not so great ones.
Yeah. Well, what you described was like it was the same deal. Like the person who I was having a hard time with also had it listed on eBay simultaneously.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. It was like you're trying to see where the better deal is coming from. You're stringing me along.
Yeah.
And then, that was that. So,
which I don't think you should do. Like if you're going to sell it, pick one and sell it there. You know?
But what I do like about Mercari is that Mercari holds the money until you actually rate the transaction.
Yeah.
And so like if you do have that issue, I do like that it's very easy to get your money back from Mercari because like they'll hold it like as in like the interim.
But I just wish that, if people pull that shit, like, you kick them off or you ban them for a while or something like that.
Right.
There should be like more of a deterrent on Mercari from pulling that shit.
Right.
And I don't know if there is or isn't, but I find eBay much more reliable overall. I've had dumb stuff happen.
Yeah.
On eBay.
Yeah. I feel like I've had more dumb stuff on eBay, but I also kind of feel like eBay's just so big.
I probably have a much more successful percentage though.
Oh yeah,
of like smooth transactions.
Yeah.
Whereas like sometimes people on eBay will be like, yeah, I'm gonna wait a week and then ship it to you. And I'm just
yeah.
I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll give you 1 star for shipping then.
Yeah. I always I like don't leave reviews for some stuff. And I just remember like I had like a recent interaction with somebody said, I won't leave a review because if you want to leave a review, it's not gonna be good. And I said, so, I'd rather just let's just wash our hands of this transaction and go our separate ways.
I just let people know. I'm not above just being like, hey, this is what happened. This is my side of the story.
Yeah.
Like very, very easily avoidable, especially if you're going to be charging me $13 for shipping on a $30 item. Don't wait a week.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. They're all kind of a pain.
Yeah. So maybe next episode I'll have something again. Who knows? I'm still recovering from that the NECA reactor.
Oh, the reactor glow.
Yeah. It's been kind of biting my tongue in some purchases.
Next time you come over, we'll actually have to. So I have the loose one. We'll have to hold it under the light for a little bit and then shut all the lights off and just watch it glow because it is really fantastic to see.
Yeah, like it kind of does it back there in my shelf, but you can't really see it. But it works. I just haven't I haven't gone to any great lengths to.
It's gonna be really funny after we charge it and then we shut all the lights off in my basement and we watch it glow. My wife walks by and goes, "Why are you guys watching a figure glow in the dark? You're all kind of weird."
I'm weird. She's weird.
Actually, yeah, she probably wouldn't say anything. She'd probably just be like, that seems about par for the course.
She'd be like, Mr. G, do you want to come downstairs? No? Okay, I'm shutting the door.
Mr. G is my cat. One of my cats. So. But, yeah, that's all I got for figures.
Me too. OIWF time, where we bask in kayfabe's warm, glowing warmth.
Yes. Yes.
This is where we keep our secrets, and our secret is that we have a fig fed of Godzilla figures, and we are in our late 30s.
That's right. I love that we have an excuse to play with our Godzilla figures in wrestling rings.
And I must insist, I do not play with them. I just pose them.
Bullshit.
Fig photography.
Bullshit. You look a little while you're doing it.
I do not do any squeeze.
Or maybe even like when you're like kind of posing like fisticuffs going on, make a little.
No, I go, motherfucker, just stay still. Goddamn ropes getting in the way.
Well, as I use a lot of Trendmasters figures, those ropes are like a blessing, because that is like what I gotta like prop them on to like kind of keep the balance.
I have NECA figures and their tails just like hit them and get stuck and they fall over.
Oh yeah. Fortunately you're gonna have in 1 year's time you're gonna have an authentic scale WWF ring.
Yeah, like 10 months.
Yeah,
9-10
so
months.
that'll be a lot better for you, because like that ring's like way huger than which you currently have. That'll probably actually fit the NECA figures pretty well.
Yes.
But whereas I guess I kind of tend to use more smaller scale figures, so like they fit kind of like well, I'm using a WWE Masters of the Universe ring for my primary ring.
Yeah, I have an AEW, just the standard ring that you could find at any Walmart. There's probably 50 of them there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So for this week, I have Playmates Gigan defending the Intercontinental title against the former champion.
The workers' title right there.
Burning Godzilla.
Oh, NECA. My word.
Yeah, big match. 1-on-1. Cursed Order is barred from ringside. Cursed Order Legendary barred from ringside. It's 1-on-1. There will be no outside interference. And if NECA GMK gets involved, he will be fired on the spot.
Fired? Like...
Commissioner LJN Slick has deemed it that if anyone interferes in this match, fired.
Like what WWE just did to
WWE just
to
did.
13 people while we were recording this episode.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen. He would be released and have to go to Impact Wrestling.
Well, what a scoop for Impact that would be.
They got Godzilla. It would be enormous.
Pun.
Yeah.
Well, that is. I mean, that's going to be the match to see. I think over the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we might have a new champion.
We might not.
I mean, could be a retain for Gigan. Only time will tell.
You could. I mean, with the stipulation like that, though, we should have a good, clean exhibition.
We should. But
well,
who knows?
Who knows?
But anyway, what's going on your side of the island?
Oh, well, it was a big week. Big week in both the Mid-Atlantic title scene and the OIWF world title scene. I'm actually going to start with the OIWF world title picture because, Trendmasters Varan ran the Trendmasters of the Universe's gauntlet, fought his way to get his world title shot, went 1-on-1 with our champion, Trendmasters Anguirus, and, he seemed to have things swinging in his favor. But then those dastardly no good tag champs, Trendmasters Gigan and Trendmasters Biollante, They interfered. He was starting to fight them off, but the numbers game was starting to get the best. The former OIWF World Champ, Bandai Titanosaurus, we haven't seen him in months. We don't know where he's been. We don't know what he's been doing. We almost thought he was released, like Keith Lee was.
I thought he was dead.
Came from the crowd to make the save, helped fight off the attackers, but Varan thought he could do it himself. They got into a little bit of a jaw-jacking situation, and the world champ took advantage of it, smashed the two into each other, hit his finish on Varan, retained the title, and then after that, tragic scene, two of the top good guys in the OIWF coming to blows, brawling to the back over what happened. Really, really sad to see that deterioration between two figures that just want to do it right. And
now we'll find out who does it best.
Well, it's a good lead-in right there. But I almost kind of feel like the biggest story is on the Mid-Atlantic side. Shin Godzilla, Bandai Mini Shin Godzilla, formerly Bandai Mini Kamada-kun, the most winningest and dominant Mid-Atlantic champion in OIWF history. Was basically ending careers, defending that title since he became Bandai Shin Godzilla. But the kid did it. Carl's Jr., Godzilla Jr. from Godzilla the series, which is quite a mouthful to say. A mouthful like, a delicious Carl's Jr. I don't even actually know what they make, so I don't know if they're like a chicken place or a burger place.
Yeah, it's like burger stuff.
Yeah, okay. Well, they must have French fries. That's a mouthful. Yes. Like some I assume delicious Carl's Jr. or Hardee's French fries. But anyway, Carl's Jr., Zilla Jr. is just how I'm going to go from here on out. It took 3 elbow drops to put down the champ. Top rope elbow drops. But the kid did it.
Congratulations to the new champ.
Yep.
Yeah. Congratulations to the former champ. He had a great reign, and now his watch has ended.
It has.
But moving on to bigger, better things. Carl's Jr., Zilla Jr., new day in the Mid-Atlantic division.
It is.
New opportunities for upstarts to come in and seize that brass ring.
That's right. I think on my side of the island, it's probably going to be a period of us building some new stars, new challengers, and maybe some tag team challenges going on this side of the island. I think the new champ and the existing champ have earned a little bit of a couple of weeks off.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the tag champs can finally put up their titles or something.
Yeah, listen. We're gonna put them to work over the next 2 weeks. All right.
I kid. I have my title. That's all I care about. I remember messaging you about that, just being like, I'm just gonna do something really weird with what my figures, like my side of the Fed, like. It's gonna be bonkers. Like,
maybe you want your own.
Shut everything.
This should probably be a business conversation offline. But I think I'm gonna propose this to you on air.
Don't give me more to do.
Never mind. I'm gonna retract my proposal.
I was good for a little while, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't know how much more I have left in the tank. I hot shot it a lot. I got one trick up my sleeve. I got one ace in the hole that I could do, but
oh wait, so I will revisit my proposal because I think maybe you thought I was going to propose some like grandiose, like another one of those G54 summit things.
No,
which we will never do again.
Yeah,
that was too much work.
I thought you were going to propose that I do more titles and have my own leagues, and it's which I say no.
I retract my proposal.
I don't want my own tag titles. I have the one singles title, and that's good enough. Yeah.
Like how like AEW has like a TBS championship now. What if you had like an Audacity? Or no, wait, we used Logic. You should have a Logic Pro title.
Oh. We're mostly on Twitter. I could have a Twitter title.
Just like how Impact has a digital media title, which I don't know what that means.
And my girl Jordan Grace is the champion.
Yes.
She took a Shawn Michaels like photo with it, and I was just like, you get it, girl. You get it.
Yeah. I don't know what the digital media title actually entails in terms of like. I guess is that just
all I know is it's like if you took the old Divas title from the mid 2000s and you combined it with the old IWGP title and you made a belt, it would look like how the digital media title looks.
Well, I like how it has like the circuitry like going through
Yes,
it. Like,
yeah.
but like, is this supposed to be like the modern day TV title because like
it's
you stream stuff as opposed to watching it on traditional TV more
it's
now?
an intergender TV title. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's cool then.
Yeah, it's fine. But I think I love the belt just because it's kind of like it's almost IWGP like, but it's also close to being shitty too. So it's like, yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, in the day and age of 2021, like I was like, well, if it's a title that's like is like kind of exclusively defended on like YouTube or Twitter videos or something like that, and I was like, well, I mean, that's a cool idea. That's the way it goes now.
I actually have an idea for a new title.
Okay, well there you go.
Just came to me. I'm gonna do it.
Let the record show.
There's gonna be a new title in OIWF.
There you go.
It will definitely happen.
Well, that was a good OIWF segment.
All right,
good show, good pod.
What are we doing for the next episode?
We're gonna wrap up our Zone Fighter episodes. I think there's still one I need to track down online, but I mean, if whether I find it or not, we're gonna do whatever's left in our queue of Zone Fighter, Godzilla, Gigan crossover episodes. I think everything that's left is the Godzilla and Gigan episodes.
Okay.
So
I'm here for it. I have one request. After this, can I pick the next one?
Absolutely.
Oh.
And then I think
you won't regret it.
I think the one
you might regret it.
But then I think let me think really quick. I think actually the way that it works. So we'll do Zone Fighter, your pick, and then I think it's going to be Kong Christmas again.
Good, yeah, because the movie I'm picking is on the same streaming service that Kong is on.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good. I can't believe you're going to start talking about Kong Christmas.
Yeah,
just like that.
So yeah, more of Zone Fighters, and then we have my mystery movie, which I think will be fun. You won't be upset that I pick it. I'll say that. Then we have Kong Christmas.
Yeah. We'll have to figure out what we're gonna do for that.
We'll have to watch a good one this year. Can we maybe instead of that, maybe we just get drunk and watch Peter Jackson again?
No. Not in the same year we did Cozzilla.
That is a lot. Yeah.
The same quarter.
I do like how most people view that movie very fondly, and I'm like a Peter Jackson fan. And I'm like, I hate this movie. This is terrible.
Yeah. No, I no. It's just
it's a lovingly made piece of shit.
Yeah, it's such like a product of its time, where it's like everything just had to be over the top, 3 hours long.
Yeah, that was the Peter Jackson stuff,
stuffed with like way too many characters, just
way too many meaningless characters and way too much lovey-dovey bullshit that doesn't belong there.
Yeah, yes. I mean, whatever. You can listen to the episode about it. Like, I mean, Fay Ray and Darrow should be sympathetic towards Kong, but it does not make sense to be in love with King Kong. And in that movie, she's like in love with King Kong. It does not make sense. It does not make sense. She should be anybody in that situation who has been kidnapped by this giant monster can be sympathetic, but like it becomes very weird and does not make a lot of sense when you go, I think I am in love with this giant monster who has kidnapped me and has killed probably who knows how many people in its pursuit of me. That's what we call problematic.
Yeah. I just thought it was too long and boring.
And that too. It's too long and boring. It's like I said when we watched it. So the original one was an hour and like 20 minutes. I
did like how they added like a bunch of time to the movie with like just meaningless bullshit on the ship.
Yeah, we're gonna be on the boat forever.
Yeah,
be on the boat forever.
Adrian Brody's like typing up the Skull Island. It's like I'm just like type faster. Like I do not like slow.
Peter Jackson's like, what was like an inspiration for me in this movie? Luigi Cozzi's Godzilla, because he's slowed down a whole bunch of scenes.
Actually, now that you mentioned it, I did think of a good joke. I was like, Roland Emmerich made Godzilla 98, saying he had a lot of appreciation for the original. I think he meant the 77 original.
That's probably what he saw. I would not be surprised.
But anyway, that ought to do it for us this episode. Slickster, do you got anything you'd like to say to the audience?
I'm sorry Keith Lee got released.